Oh, it's nice. That's good water. Hope everybody is doing all right. Let me know that you can hear me okay. I know I've screwed that up previously, so it never hurts to double check. Can see and hear me. Wonderful. Hope everybody's doing well. I made the decision to not dedicate a video to San Diego Comic-Con. However, there was a lot to unpack, so we are going to talk about it. I decided to do this instead of making a video because I'm buried in work and did not have the time or the energy to devote another shoot and edit and cram it in with all the stuff I'm already trying to do. But in any case, we got a lot to go over. I am going to be glancing at pretty much everything that was announced. I won't have things to say about some of it because some of it I don't care. So there is that. Salvera Regina. Thank you, Jack. Member for 5 months. Appreciate you sticking around. And this will be the reminder that comments, I do try and keep up with the chat, but the only thing that guarantees that a comment will be read or a question responded to would be if you use a super chat. You also get a heart from me for doing so. So, in any case, I don't care, still saying something? I suppose so. So, oh boy, we've got a lot to look at here. So, let me switch this over. And yeah, okay. So, first thing that is that's right there is something that I'm not going to talk about. I don't care about Avatar Lego sets. I mean, they look kind of cool. I won't lie about that. They do look interesting, but I'm not really that into Lego, and my kid moved on from it. So, and she definitely has no interest in Avatar. So, no real thoughts there. After that, first look at the characters from Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I suspect that the actual trailer will be brought up later. I was surprised how much I liked the look of the trailer. It has just a really fun. It has the vibe that, well, frankly, that a Dungeons and Dragons movie should have. It feels like a bunch of people who just get along going on an adventure. That is what Dungeons and Dragons, the game at its best, feels like. That is what any Dungeons and Dragons movie should feel like. Hey, Vera, I got some terrible news. My dog Cosmo, whom I've known since he was a pup, passed away recently at age 17. I've been sad the past couple days. I'm very sorry, Logan, and I wish you for the best going forward. Michael Anderson Doyle, good to see you, Dharma. Thank you for keeping up the member subscription, and of course, wonderful entrance as always. So let's see what else we've got here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection has a release date. Okay, so if this is good, I will get it. The thing is, though, I am going to wait for reviews to come out because there is little doubt in my mind that Konami is throwing this together relatively quickly to capitalize on the success of Shredder's Revenge that came out earlier this year. But the thing is, I don't trust Konami to do anything, even throw together a bunch of ROMs of old games into a collection. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, also with the Dungeons and Dragons movie, there'll be no Thor or Bert suddenly forgetting how to act in this one, so that's a plus. Whew, boy, yeah, that movie. It was like Jeremy Irons sapped Thora Birch's acting ability in order to amplify his own and go as much over the top as possible. He was like an acting vampire. It's that movie was a trip. All right. Dungeons and Dragons Honors Among Thieves San Diego Comic-Con clips reveals a battle with the classic 1980s cartoon party. Okay. I mean, that's cute. I never watched that cartoon, but that's cute in theory. Another thing about D&D. Oh, the trailer. I'm not going to play any of these trailers because that'll get the live stream shut down for copyright nonsense. So I will not be doing any of that. However, I did see this trailer and it's fun. It was a lot of fun, which was just nice. Transformers, not my thing. Okay, so I don't have too much to say in regards to there being the actual teaser for this National Treasure TV series. I am kind of interested to see how it turns out, though. I have a soft spot for treasure hunt stories in the first place, and I do have a soft spot for National Treasure. So I am curious to see how this ends up going. Jeremy Irons was the only good thing about that movie. Jeremy Irons was not good in that movie. He was one of the few fun things about that movie, but that's good? No. I cried when the Black Panther 2 teaser dropped. Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that. So let's see. What else was it? Oh, so this was interesting. So the first clip for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I don't think I'm going to like it. It's a little bit too high energy. It's a little bit too bombastic. I think it looks like it knows what it wants to be, and I think it's probably going to be a pretty good version of that. I think it's probably aimed at a demographic and an age range that is not me. So, like, I watched the clip and I'm like, this is fun, but this would get exhausting for me to try and watch. And so that's probably something I'll skip, but don't have a problem with it existing. How are you feeling about the Thunderbolts Marvel Phase 5 news? We'll get to Marvel. Marvel's going to eat up a whole lot of this stream. We'll get there. Don't you worry. Jeremy Irons had just bought a castle, apparently, and needed the money. I guess that's what you get with English actors. As you know, you get with American actors, you get Nick Cage needing to cover his tax bills, and then you get Jeremy Irons needing to pay off a castle. Gotham Knights gameplay trailer. I'm never going to play that game, so I don't care. William Shatner to appear in Masters of the Universe Revolution. Cool. I don't think we know who he's playing. And there isn't much more known about that. He-Man's of the Master of the Universe Season 3. Season 3? When the heck was there a Season 2? I haven't watched that either. It didn't really look like it was anything. Like this was the version of Masters of the Universe that was like intended to actually bring in new fans as opposed to cater to the old ones. Which again, I have no problem with that existing. Just, I am an existing fan. So something about Severance. I don't watch it. Wheel of Time. I don't watch it. Severance. Beavis and Butthead. Don't care. King of the Hill creator, don't care. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sequel coming in December. So, like, it'd be a stretch to say that I care about that because I don't. I've never really followed Mighty Morphin Power Rangers past the first season, and so ages and ages ago. But that's fun as a concept, so I'm fine. I'm fine with it being a thing. I've never been that into D&D. If you want my reasoning, see Mabel from Gravity Falls. Oh, fair enough. It's not for everybody. missed this news about Shatner's just being a turd in general. I don't really plan to deal with that because I don't wanna. SpongeBob SquarePants universe gets a crossover since what? Since when does SpongeBob even have a universe? Whatever. I I don't care. National Treasure: Edge of History gets official behind-the-scenes featurette. I didn't watch that, but I did catch that the character of Riley is coming back, so I like that as a connection to the old films. DC seemingly has no plans to make more Snyderverse movies. This is something that we are going to be hearing about from a certain segment of the internet very loudly for a while. But, like, it's hard to blame them. Because, look, here's the thing. No matter how successful the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League was, and by most measures, so best as we can tell, because, you know, HBO Max, like every streaming platform, does not make public their actual viewing numbers. It was successful, especially for at the time it came out when HBO Max was first launching in terms of getting people interested in trying out the platform. But the idea of the expense of trying to bring that back in, and not to mention, like, would it run in parallel to the other stuff they're doing? Would they try and get the stuff that has kind of gone off and become a bit of its own thing, like the Suicide Squad and Shazam and Wonder Woman? Would they try and wrench that back into the Snyderverse? Like, especially after having gone through a merger like Warner Brothers did recently, I don't see them spending the money on that. I never did. So, moving on. Crap. I said I didn't want to deal with Shatner, and there it is right there. William Shatner goes off on Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry would be turning in his grave. The reason Gene Roddenberry would have been turning in his grave is because there aren't enough huge alien ball sacks on TV, as much as he would have wanted. And apparently he added into that fuck Star Wars. Like, Shatner at this point seems to just decide, he seems to have decided he's a 80-something troll, which to me is just kind of sad. Multiversus, don't care. Okay, so Lord of the Rings of Power. There was a new trailer. I did look at it. I've kind of been avoiding talking about this thing too much because honestly, I don't feel much pull towards it. Adrenaline, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Vera, hope you had a nice rest. I did a lot of driving, so it was arguable how restful it was, but looking forward to the Twitch streams again. Yep, they'll be back tomorrow. So here's, I think, is the thing with, or at least for me, let me be very clear. If you're excited about the Lord of the Rings stuff, the continuation, the fact that it looks visually to be very much coherent with the Peter Jackson movies, great. That's kind of what bores me, though. The thing is that those movies, when they came out, were revolutionary. They set a new standard, but the problem is that new standard is still the standard. That style of sweeping vistas, that degree of integration of special effects with live action, that let's swoop the camera around and show you all of this majesty, that is now what is standard. And while thankfully for me it hasn't diminished how good Lord of the Rings still is, I just am not wrapped up in that presentation anymore. And then I'm just reminded by the fact that ultimately, when it comes to Tolkien's actual work, it's kind of a little bit of a minor miracle that I like Lord of the Rings movies as much as I do, because really the only thing Tolkien wrote that I actually enjoyed reading was The Hobbit. So given that I'm now over the visual presentation of these things and we're just left with the lore and the mythology and the stories, I just don't care very much. For me, that's me, just me. Also, surely Snyder himself does not want to work with Warner Brothers. He doesn't sound like he had a great time with them, so if I was a fan of his, I would think that was good news. Well, it kind of depends because, as I noted, they just went through a merger and there's still some shifting sands. So he might potentially be coming at it from an angle of, well, things have been shaken up and maybe there's new management coming in, or maybe he's hoping new management will come in, or maybe he's hoping that if they say yes to him again, they're not going to screw him this time because eyes are really going to be on them and how they're managing things. But I don't know. I have a hard time parsing what it is Snyder does or doesn't want to do right now. It's I'm haven't really been able to get into the guy's head very well. Disney's making a new musical movie called Penelope. It's loosely based on Princess and the Pea. What are your thoughts? I have no thoughts. Miss Wicked Wolf, you have to stop asking me questions about, what are my thoughts on this has been announced. Okay? Unless I know who's making it, who the talent is maybe, or if I'm already familiar with the source material, or if there's a trailer, I have no thoughts. I don't know what you want from me. All right, moving on. That was a little over the top, but you do this to me a lot. You ask me questions that I'm like, why do you expect me to have an opinion on that? Original Gremlins star Zach Galligan will return for Secrets of the Mogwai, which is an animated series. Huh. This is a project that, if they're making these kinds of casting announcements, maybe it'll actually happen. But this is a project that has been morphing for a while because there was supposed to be a Gremlins 3 for a long time. And then there was going to be a prequel movie. And now it's apparently morphed into an animated series. Nobody can seem to decide what they want to do with the Gremlins IP. And I'm not entirely sure why you'd go animated with Gremlins. Because, part of the appeal of Gremlins is, they act like slapstick cartoons in real life. Or at least that's part of the appeal for me. And it's part of why I like the second one better than the first one. But just going animated, I don't know what the appeal is at that point. Matthew Lillard says the Ultra Instinct Shaggy meme is canon. You know what? I've always liked Matthew Lillard. I've always thought he was a very entertaining guy and a better actor than people give him credit for. Lord of the Rings of Power's female dwarves will have beards, according to producer. Yay! That kind of feels like an embodiment of why I don't really care about this stuff. I'm not the kind of person who has an opinion on whether or not it's right or wrong that the female dwarves have beards. Okay, do what you want. It's a movie. I'm honestly shocked there was never a 1990s Gremlins animated series. That would have been the time for it. They were turning almost everything into an animated series back then. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes had an animated series. Yeah. The live-action Scooby-Doo movies were never good. I didn't say those were good. I said he's a better actor than people give him credit for. That's a separate conversation. All right, let's see. I Am Groot trailer reveals the first look at the adorable Guardians of the Galaxy spinoff. I did see that trailer. It is cute. I don't think I have too much thought other than it being cute. I think it's very smart that it's a series of animated shorts as opposed to a proper series with any kind of ongoing story. So, and given that they're calling them animated shorts, these things could be as short as 7 or 8 minutes, which might be the ideal length. So at least if they're going to do it, they seem to be going about it in an intelligent way. Marvel's What If? Season 2 announced for early 2023 alongside Season 3 confirmation. Okay. I didn't like What If all that much. There was a couple that I kind of liked, but nah. I like Snyder's films fine. I think his stuff is fun, not world-breaking, incredible. They're fun, and to me, at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for, you know? Like, that's fine. And, like, this isn't, well, it's debatable how much of it's his fault, because it's debatable how much of it he ferments. But, like, his fan base does sour me on trying to like him quite a bit, because it becomes one of those cases of, like, if liking this brings me closer to you folks, I don't think I want it. It kind of becomes that to a certain degree. And like, those are people who aren't going, oh, I like it because it's fun. They're going, oh, this is the most brilliant piece of work ever, and if you don't think so, you're an idiot. And like, again, that's not necessarily his fault, but Strum Dynasty, thank you for the super chat. Absolutely no need to react to a question that way. Okay, Strum, this is not the first time I've brought up to Ms. Wicked Wolf about her tendency to ask questions that I don't know what to do with. So this is a bit of an ongoing thing she and I have. Now, if you feel that the interaction I had with someone else was inappropriate, I don't know what to tell you. I would hope that the person who I was speaking to would express that if necessary. So, again, I don't know what to do with this comment either. I am trying to not get excessively worked up, but this is not a new interaction that I had with her. This has been a little bit of an ongoing interaction. Whether one were to consider it banter or not, you can have that as a separate discussion. But I don't know what to say to you. If Ms. Wicked Wolf feels like I owe her an apology, she may feel free to say so. So, moving on. Spider-Man freshman year. That's another thing I don't really care about. I'm really, really, really tired of Spider-Man in high school. Like, at this point, especially in the animated series, because every single Spider-Man animated series has been him in high school. Plus every single movie series. Now, maybe I'm partially biased because I started actually reading the comics in the 90s when he, was an adult with a career and an apartment and a wife before Marvel wiped that out. So, like, I'm just really sick of seeing him in high school. And the fact that, Tom Holland is now too old to have that be the case, but they're going to cram in an animated series, like, let's keep doing high school. Like, just do something. Just do something else. Do something other than the high school. For Peter, at least. Miles, I'll give you a pass to because he hasn't been used as much. But Peter, that's enough already. And it's going to have Charlie Cox as Daredevil, which pretty much confirms it's non-canon. It would have to be, I'm pretty certain. Okay. Yes, Dorkrama, I am aware of David Warner's passing, along with Paul Sorvino as well. So, yeah. Do Old Man Peter? No, because that would be Spider-Man Reign, and that we do not need. Captain Omni. Can we at least admit Daredevil was the best Netflix Marvel show? For me, it's Daredevil, then Jessica Jones, then Punisher, then Luke Cage, then Iron Fist. No. So, here's the problem. I don't think any of the shows were great consistently. I think Daredevil had a great first season, had maybe half of an almost good second season, and then a crap half of a second season, and a third season that was better, but nowhere near as good as the first. Jessica Jones had a absolutely astounding, damn near flawless first season. And then a second season that didn't know what it was doing, and a third season I didn't bother with. So, like, I don't know what, like, Jessica Jones season 1 is so much better than Daredevil season 1. Daredevil season 1's really good. That, like, even knowing that the show kind of fell apart after that, I still am not prepared to just hand a crown to Daredevil for that. I also can't fully judge Punisher because I got bored halfway through the season and I stopped. So, you know. You also didn't mention the Defenders, where you'd put that, so now I'm curious. Jack Harrow, thank you very much for becoming a member. I greatly appreciate that. And Tara Statler, I've been out of the loop for a while because of life, so just saying hi. Well, very happy to see you here. All right. Where were we? More Rings of Power stuff. I'm going to skip it. More Gremlin stuff. Casting. Randall Park. Cool. Glad he's working. Moving on. X-Men 97 to premiere on Disney Plus in fall 2023. I won't have an opinion on that until there's a trailer. I really kind of need to see how in keeping with the previous 90s animated series they're doing it, because I know it's unpopular in my age range, but the original cartoon was not that good. Like the theme was an absolute banger, but other than that, it was not very good. The animation was subpar, the voice acting was not very good, and the scripts were okay as adaptations go. But I need to see a trailer. I'm hoping what they're going to aim for is a bit like, kind of like a cartoon version of what the video game, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge did, which is to make it very much updated, but make it feel like how you remember the old thing, as opposed to actually being like the old thing. Marvel Zombies on Disney Plus will have the gore and splatter you want from a zombie show. Cool. One more reason for me not to bother watching it. Tales from the Walking Dead gets its first full trailer at San Diego Comic-Con. Tales of the Walking... How many... Hey... How many Walking Dead shows are there? Because there's Walking Dead, there's Fear the Walking Dead, and there's Tales of the... Does AMC have literally anything else? Is that the only thing that network makes anymore? Do they ever do anything else? Did I miss something? Bubbles by Bimmy Bell. That's cute to say. Thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate that. So, let's see what else we got. Yeah, so, like, I don't care about this. I didn't even watch the original Walking Dead after the first season. Marvel reveals real-life Infinity Stones collection worth $25 million. Okay, they're just showing off now. The Walking Dead gets new trailer premiere date for Series 5. How is that not over? Like, the final season of this show started airing almost a year ago. How is it not done? Oh my God. Moving on. Action figures, Mandalorian. I'm not really an action figures guy. More Walking Dead stuff. The Walking Dead spin-off starring Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes and Danai Gurira's Michonne announced for 2023. Weren't they going to do a movie? It's replacing the movie. Great, so we're going to have a fourth show. Oh, God. Why? Somebody name me a show that's currently on AMC that is not Walking Dead related. I challenge you. I thought The Walking Dead was canceled. I mean, like, I don't know if it was canceled or just scheduled to end, but it's been ending forever. The Walking Dead, more like the dead show that's still walking. It didn't work. I give up. I wouldn't mind a Nick Fury show with a cheesy 80s, 90s action feel. Like, imagine Samuel L. Jackson tossing around Arnold-type one-liners. Could be fun. It would have to be animated, though, because the expense of de-aging Sam Jackson live action for a whole show, they'd never do it. Uh, so let's see. I shared the trailer with one forthcoming AMC program with you on Twitter. Interview with a vampire. Oh, that's AMC. Okay, so they have one. They have one other thing. Kevin can F himself. Oh, that's AMC. I forgot about that. I still want to check that show out. Anyways, moving along. Street Fighter 6, don't care, won't play it. TMNT co-creator says it's humbling to see the franchise evolve. Dude, the thing's never gone away. I don't know what to tell you. Avatar Studios' first movie will focus on... Wait, what? The first Avatar The Last Airbender film will focus on the original series hero. Wait, are these live action? What is this? Are they trying for the live action again? Like, I get pretending that the M. Night Shyamalan thing didn't happen, but wait. They created a whole studio for this? Okay. Oh, okay. Like, I mean, I know this is, again, uncommon for people like me in my line of work and around my age to not think Avatar: The Last Airbender is the end all be all of animation or storytelling, but I don't. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly good, but I don't know, man. It's kind of thematically fitting. A show about zombies won't ever die. I suppose so, but like in a really bitter way. There's an Anne Boleyn TV show starring Jodie Turner-Smith that's an AMC show. I feel like I know that name, but I don't know who that is. It's an animated film. So, wait. If they're doing Avatar animated movies, is it in continuity? Are they continuations? What are these things? I have all these questions, and yet at the same time, I don't care about the franchise, so I probably won't watch them. Yet my brain is still like, wait, what? Anyways. D&D Honor Among Thieves co-director says upcoming film is new and fresh. I don't need it to be new and fresh. I just want it to be fun. And the trailer was fun, so that's fine by me. Keanu Reeves' Berserker anime confirmed for 2 seasons on Netflix. Hey, if you can get those seasons in advance, you get those seasons in advance. Now, I like Keanu Reeves. I think we're at a point right now where we kind of all agree Keanu Reeves is awesome. But, like, what he's able to bring as a performer is a presence not fully exemplified by just his voice. Now, I say that he did actually do quite a good job with his part in Toy Story 4, except that, like, that was comedic and cartoonish, and, like, judging by this image, this is going to be all dour and serious. I'm like, he can do that, but a lot of what he does that makes that work is not his voice. So I don't know about this. Who doesn't like Keanu Reeves? Oh, yeah, Keanu Reeves, he's a good guy. Not AMC, but Amazon Prime. I'm excited for the League of Their Own series. Okay, actually, you know what, Pirates? I'm glad you brought that up, because that's not going to be on here. But I did actually check the trailer for that. It's pretty good. I had like one tiny concern, but then I double checked and it alleviated it. I had one concern that if they were basing, I know they're basing it on, the actual formation of the All-American girls baseball team, etc. But I was a little bit concerned seeing the direction some of it was going, if these were going to be inspired by specific real life people like some of the characters in the film were. But looking into it, that does not look like it's going to be the case. So then they're not mucking about with the history of actual people. So I'm actually okay with that. So yeah, the trailer looked really good for that, actually. And that might be the first Prime show I go out of my way to try and watch. So yeah. So coming back to Comic-Con though. Transformers Earthspark voice cast. I don't watch Transformers, never really have. Batman and Spawn are crossing over again. Why? DC and Image Comics are bringing back one of the classic 90s crossovers as Batman and Spawn will face off again. Revealed during the Jim Lee and Friends panel at Comic-Con. Comic will be a 48-page one-shot written by Todd McFarlane, drawn by Greg Capullo. Okay, I mean, I'm sure Todd needs the money because he's still got lawsuits to pay off. I mean, here's the thing. On the one hand, I would kind of go like DC especially has had really bad luck in bringing back older comic writers to like revisit stuff. And actually, I don't think Todd even wrote that crossover. I think Frank Miller did. And he just drew it. Like Todd's not a great writer. That's a weird. But then again, like the original was just kind of silly. So like it's already a silly crossover. So like what's the most damage it can do? None. There's no integrity in the idea. So whatever. William Shatner revealed definitive documentary with fan-funded Legion. Okay. Sure. You keep telling yourself that, Shat. Dragon Ball Super superhero new detail revealed. I don't watch it. Daniel Craig seemingly wants to be a guest star on Archer. That might actually get me to watch the show again. It's God. I forget that Archer's still going because it's one of those shows that I kind of bounced off. Well, not fully bounced off of, but it got past the point of it being worth it for me to go out of my way anymore. So I just kind of stopped. Just accept you are an avatar heretic so we can burn you at the stakes. Yeah, no. Try me. Come at me. No, don't really. I'm exhausted, I'm stressed, and I'm overworked. And I'm not saying that because I can't take you on. I'm saying that because I won't be able to control myself, and you'll all get more hurt than should really be happening. A movie I want to get a second chance is Dracula Untold with Luke Evans because I think it deserves so much better than it got. If you never heard of it, it's basically a better Morbius. I have heard of it. I never got around to it. Why is Shatner still getting work? Because he's a name and a very recognizable voice. Star Wars costume reveals new story details for Andor series. I am not the kind of person to try and parse story details from costume reveals. We're moving on. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I did not really like this trailer very much. It did not do all that much for me. And it's hard for me to nail down why. Although, to be fair, the trailers for the first one didn't really do much for me either. And I did ultimately, largely end up enjoying that. But this didn't do much for me. And something feels a little off that so far, all the villains we've seen, and so far as I can tell from looking it up, all the villains are women. And they seem to be mad at a male character for stealing their power. And that just feels weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel different when I know more about the plot. But that trailer didn't do a lot for me. Extreme X-Men returns to Marvel with original What? Legendary writer Chris Claremont is reviving the fan favorite Extreme X-Men. No, that's a terrible idea. Look. I love Chris Claremont and his impact on comics in general, and the X-Men in particular, undeniable. I've seen him talk at Comic-Cons. Really interesting guy. This is a bad idea. So I kind of mentioned it already with the Spawn Batman thing, but you want to look at DC, and when they've had people like Frank Miller or Neil Adams, was it Neil Adams? Or was it, I think it was Neil Adams. They had these classic Batman writers come back and do it again, and it doesn't work. It really doesn't. And Claremont, I like the guy's work, but his work is also of a time. His work is dated. And then not even 90s. His work is 80s dated. I love Claremont. I love a lot of the characters that he introduced. I adore some of the things he wanted to do that he wasn't allowed to do. But I don't know about this. Yikes. Was there anything you liked from Comic-Con? Unless I missed something, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, like, there is some. And we'll get to some of it. But, like, they announce a lot. They announce a lot at Comic-Con. And so just by volume, yeah, a lot of it isn't gonna do much for me. The Rock showed up in full Black Adam costume during San Diego Comic-Con. Nice. Black Adam new trailer showed Justice Society's Atom Smasher, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, Hawkman. I have seen that trailer. That's a good trailer. That one definitely did a lot more for me than the Shazam one did. House of Dragons Millie Alcock says dragon riding was like a mechanical bull with leaf blowers. Okay. House of Dragons Queen, who never was, is based on real history. Okay, that's a background lore thing that I'm not. George, not J.R.R. Tolkien. George R.R. Martin. Too many R's, you people. Won't cameo in any Game of Thrones shows until Winds of Winter is done. So he'll never cameo. But that's none of my business. Bat Wheels debuts a trailer. I tried watching this trailer. It seems to be like Pixar's Cars, but for Bat branded things. It's a very strange idea. So I don't know who came up with that one or what they were on. So Picard season 3. I still have to see Picard season 2, which I'm nervous about because I heard like even from the most generous people that like it started out okay, but like it was too long or stretched out or it kind of fell apart. I won't lie though, I saw the teaser for this third season and it stirred something. Like as a fan of The Next Generation who watched it like at my grandparents' house growing up. Yeah, no, that teaser did a little something for me. And yet he cameoed in a Sharknado film. To be fair, Rowan, they probably only had to get him in front of a green screen for that. If he's going to cameo for Game of Thrones, they probably have to fly him out to the shooting location. He will never cameo. That hurt Vera. Look, I'm just saying, these books were supposed to be done forever ago. Star Trek Lower Deck Season 3 trailer teases a visit to Deep Space Nine. Okay. I never got past the first episode, but that's because I don't have Paramount Plus. I've heard very good things about Lower Decks, but haven't gotten back to it. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, still haven't seen it. Sandman reveals trailer. So, I did see this trailer. So, I wish I was more excited for this than I am. I think the problem for me is as someone who deeply loves the original Sandman comics and who has already listened to at least the first part, I need to get to the second one, the Audible adaptation of it. I don't know what this is going to give me because the comic already has a visual component. And it's a visual component that the TV show, while not doing the Zack Snyder Watchmen thing of literally using the comic as a storyboard, is very much recreating it, which is cool, but like I've seen it. So generally the main thing that an adaptation like this would give me would be seeing actors interpret the parts, except I've already gotten that from the Audible adaptation. So, yeah, I'm just not getting a lot off of this. And that's not me saying it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be bad. But I don't think it's going to offer me, and like as someone who loves this story as much as I do, I'm not sure what I'm going to gain out of watching this show. if that makes any sense. Have you watched The Nevers? I never did get around to that one. It was one of those shows that I was like, oh, maybe, and then just never had the time. Okay, let's see. Original Sandman artist did a unique ending credits for every episode. Oh, that's cool. Dave Mckean created a different end credits for every episode. Okay, now that will be very cool to see. So Dave McKean was the cover artist. He is a really interesting artist. And also, like, his movie, Mirror Mask, really should be watched by more people than it is. So, Neil Gaiman would love to see Marvel's 1602 movie or series. I kind of want to see it as an animated show. Not sure why, but that's my first instinct. First trailer for Anne Rice's interview with a vampire. Okay, now this was interesting. This was real interesting seeing this. Partially because they've made the decision to make Louis, if you're not familiar with Interview with a Vampire and like you only know the movie, Louis was Brad Pitt's part. And they're making Louis black. Now, they're making some accommodations to the character beyond that from what I can tell. Because Louis in the original is basically a plantation owner. So they're not just going to have that person now be black. It looks like he like runs a casino is kind of more what they're going for with this new one. I'll be really curious to see if they do more alterations to sort of bring a different angle to the character and his story, because one of the things about Louis in the book and in the previous film adaptation is that he's kind of a whiny, rich, white jackass. Like he has a royal flush of privilege already, being rich, white, male. And then he gets to live forever on top of that. And he's just very depressed about it. I think giving that same storyline to a character with a potentially very different outlook and perspective, like a black man would have, has the potential to lead to some very interesting alterations to the character and to the story. I'll be curious to see if they actually do that. Or if they just make the one change to have him be like the owner of a casino so they can account for the race and then never bring it up again. That would be disappointing. If having mutants such as Magneto being too old, considering options, why not just make an extended lifespan a common trait among mutants? Also, it adapts real traits of evolution. So the thing is, Breathing Nerddom is referring to my video talking about how the X-Men might get integrated and bringing up the age of a Holocaust survivor. There's no reason you can't do that. The thing is, though, that's such an easy answer that I find it uninteresting. Part of the reason I wanted to sort of go through the thought experiment of talking through other possibilities is because that's so easy that it's kind of boring. Not to say it's unusable or unworkable, but I kind of wanted to explore other options. The Discord. Thank you, Carwin. Okay. Now this, I'm going to say it right now. This stream's probably going to run over. We've got a bit more of this stuff to go through. But I am very quick going to swap over to the Council of Geeks Discord and check out the questions that have been asked there by my Patreon supporters. And a reminder for anyone who's here who is also on the Patreon, remember I did implement a rule that I am only going to take questions that were asked prior to the start of the stream. So I'll be back in a minute. Let's see. Do you think we are either at or close to a saturation point when it comes to Marvel in particular? I'm a bad person to ask because I'm someone who, because this is kind of my living, I feel like maybe a little bit, but I also feel an obligation to take in everything that not necessarily everybody else does. So I don't know how much pressure other people feel to take in everything the way that I do. So I don't know how widespread that is. I'm starting to get a little bit myself, though. Has the House of Ideas run out of them? Okay, House of Ideas being Marvel. No, actually, I would say if anything, they have too many damn ideas. They need to slow down and give them more space and room to breathe, and not have them clamoring on top of each other. Why is Shazam and Black Adam and even Suicide Squad 2 succeeding where Justice League and Batman v Superman shat the bed. I mean, a lot of reasons, but ultimately, here's the thing. Here's the thing about especially the Snyder versions of these things. Regardless of what you think of them, whether you think they are overwrought or whether you think they're brilliant, the Snyder films, Snyder in general, has a very specific appeal that is not especially mainstream. He was kind of an odd pick to attach to mainstream properties like Superman or the Justice League, because what he does has a very passionate following, but not a huge one. So I think the cleanest and quickest argument is to say it was a mismatch of creator to material, but I'm not sure I'm prepared to commit to that. I have to think about it more. If you could write any comic character anywhere, which would it be and why? Gut instinct, Mystique, because I love her and I think there's just a lot that can be done with her. Has the name The Multiverse Saga made you rethink the likelihood of the X-Men being brought in from another universe? Not at this time, but I did even acknowledge in that video that while they are initially setting up barriers that should prevent characters from other universes just crossing over into the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, that there isn't a reason that they can't undo those later, which might be an outcome of the Multiverse Saga. We'll see. A lot of the MCU is based on the Ultimate Marvel Universe 1610. I would suspect that we're looking at something very similar to how that universe ended the first time, or it's going to be an MCU version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't know. Like, again, it's hard for me. I'm not always great at thinking about what storylines they might do, and plus, I don't love multiverse stories that much, so it's kind of hard to get my brain in gear thinking about how they might or might not go with the overall thing. I won't be in the chat. Had to go in on my day off. Hope you're doing great. Thank you very much. Do you think it was helpful having Kevin Feige come out basically to reassure fans that, yes, we are heading somewhere with all this. We have a plan? A little. The thing is, like, when I did my video asking, is Phase 4 in trouble? It wasn't that I was like, I think they have no plan. It was that this phase in particular has not had much structure to it. And that is an absence. Whether there is a plan for where to go later, that doesn't change the fact that that's how Phase 4 has felt. So for me personally, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But for people who might have been concerned that there was never going to feel like a plan again, yeah, it was probably helpful. Will the attempt to combine the MCU TV show, plot developments, and the films be the series undoing for the latter's much larger audience? Potentially, if they lean on it too hard, which I think it's arguable they already did with Multiverse of Madness. Oh, which you then address in the question. My partner knew nothing, re the WandaVision story, and her reaction after watching Multiverse of Madness was she had no reason to be emotionally invested in Wanda's damaged quest for these children. Last she saw her was the end of Endgame, and she understood her rage. And where she understood her rage, but not here. Yep. And confession to being someone who's never watched an episode of Stranger Things. I have so much backing up because of work and life getting in the way of geekiness. Is it even worth going back to start it? I think the first season is excellent. Extremely excellent. I'm not on the same page as everybody else with the other seasons, especially this most recent one, which a lot of people claim to love, and I really did not. Like, there are aspects and elements of the latest season that are great, but it's not most of it. So I would say at the very least give season 1 a shot, because even as someone who has not loved everything since then, I think season 1 is worth watching if you are into that kind of that sort of vibe, that era, that sense of mystery and otherworldliness. I think it's really good. Would you prefer the new Daredevil show to follow directly off the existing continuity of the Netflix show, only make passing reference to it, or completely retcon the events of the previous series entirely? What I expect and what I think I would prefer is to go with that middle option. There will be minor references to it. It will not heavily base its story off it. I do not expect Electro the Hand to ever show up. Nor do I expect them to retcon it, because bringing in Charlie Cox to then just retcon it, I think Marvel knows enough to know that that's going to rub a lot of fans the wrong way. But I don't expect them to be doing heavy continuity stuff. That having been said, that may change slightly depending on how well the show does on now that they've got the Netflix stuff on their own streaming platform. I don't know. We'll see. Do you think it would be a good idea to reintroduce the other Defenders characters in that show? Some of them. I don't know about Jessica Jones, only because, like, her first season was excellent, but it really felt like she worked telling that story, and they never figured out what to do with her since then. That isn't to say you can't figure something else out, but I'm not super eager for her to come back just because I feel like they told the best story they're gonna be able to tell with her. Luke Cage, absolutely. They should absolutely bring back Luke Cage. And do not bring back Iron Fist. Bring back Luke Cage, bring back Misty Knight, bring back Colleen Wing. Would be my preference. And drop the rest of it. I don't need that Punisher, and I don't need a lot of that other stuff. Okay, I am now back in the main chat. So let me just take a look here real quick. Personally, I don't think making the villains of Shazam 2 women would be a problem, but maybe I'm missing something. Care to explain? Okay, so, Logan, there's a very, especially if you're going to deal with old mythology, Greek mythology, and things like that, one of the sort of frustrating things about it is that a lot of it basically always painted the female deities as bitter and spiteful, especially of mortals granted power. I mean, that's the entire concept behind Hera's hatred of Hercules. So, and like it goes a lot of other places along the same lines. And it's an aspect of mythology I don't need reiterated in a modern retelling, if that makes sense. But anyways, let's see. Fun fact, Neil Gaiman once had to talk the cops out of arresting Ian M. Banks when he, while maybe drunk, decided to try and climb the wall of a hotel at a sci-fi conference was taking place in. That's a good story. The way you said you'd be judging Corinthian and Desire because they're the roles you want to play. That's how I feel about Santiago in Interview with the Vampire. Interesting. Yeah, it does impact your enjoyment, doesn't it? All right. We're up to 8 o'clock already. All right, let me get back to these. We haven't even touched much of Marvel yet. Dragon Prince Season 4. I haven't watched it past the first season. Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson draws boos for his Superman response. Oh, somebody asked who would win, Black Adam or Superman. That would, yeah, whatever. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania poster. First proper look at Kang. Okay. Mystic Quest returns for... I don't even know what that is. Okay, something on Apple TV. Marvel teases massive Avengers finale and Jonathan... Oh, that's in the comics. Okay, I haven't been reading the comics. Cool. She-Hulk, Black Panther will conclude Phase 4, the MCU, and Phase 5 revealed. Okay, yes. I did see about that, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. The newer trailer for She-Hulk was better. The effects still aren't great, but they are a little better than they were. Daredevil Born Again announced during San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, I am curious as to how that's going to pan out. Actually, hold on. Let me see something here. With Shazam, does the fact that the good guys include 2 female characters affect the dynamic at all? Potentially, but it's also potentially a complicating factor if you know anything about how Mary Marvel has been handled in the comics up to this point. So again, we'll see. All right, so here's the list for what makes up Phase 5. So it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Echo, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, Blade, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Did they retitle it? Daredevil Born Again, Captain America New World Order, Thunderbolts. I know they announced some Avengers stuff, but that's apparently going to be Phase 6. I think, at least for me, a surprising amount is going to end up riding on Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I really want to see... I need to see more of this version of Kang, because I really liked what we got of Kang and Loki, but knowing that we're going to be dealing with variants of him, that means that he may not be playing the character the same way. And I'm hoping he'll still have that same flavor, because I really like Jonathan Majors' performance in Loki. I liked it a lot. It's nice that Blade finally has a date. About dang time. It's about damn time. And a lot of stuff is vague. Spring, summer. Okay. Yeah, boy, they are back-to-backing these series again. Secret Invasion in spring, 2 shows in summer, probably one right after the other, then Ironheart in the fall. I really do worry about this stuff being too much and coming too fast. I worry about Disney Plus being used for this constant feed of content. I don't know. Born Again, yep. Mahershala Ali, MCU got a release date, yep. New trailer, saw it, said it was better. Secret Invasion coming to Disney Plus next spring. Yeah, I went over all these dates. Yeah, the Thunderbolts I kind of glossed over. So we don't know a lot about that. At a guess, that is probably going to... It's looking like it's going to be made up of whoever Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is pulling together, which so far would include Yelena, Zemo, and John Walker, which would be an odd group to wrap out on. I don't know. Might depend on who else fills out the team. I'm also presuming. I'm interested in seeing how Ant-Man 3 will portray MODOK. For my money, I will bet you MODOK will be fairly minor and almost like a here's what the heroes are currently dealing with, and then he gets dealt with, and then they deal with Kang, or like Kang is behind MODOK or something like that. I'm so looking forward to more John Walker discourse. So many people seem to not get what was being done with that character. It was kind of frustrating. In Captain America: New World Order, I want this to be good, and I'm hopeful. People in general seem to have kind of soured on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and really, I think the only thing that is weak about it is the Flag Smashers. Some of the specifics there, but the stuff with Sam and with Bucky, and yes, even with John, is really good. There's a lot of good stuff there. So, first look at Kang the Conqueror and MODOK. Yeah, so there was a whole bunch of footage showed that hasn't been made public yet. And there's all these write-ups on it, but you can't find it, at least not bootleg. And again, I'm not even going to try and find it to pull it up because it'll get the stream shut down. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, new trailer shown. That one's not going to go public. James Gunn talked about this because he said the effects aren't finalized enough for it to be, watched and rewatched and gone over God, what's the word? Frame by frame. I lost words for some reason. So it was comfortable showing it at the con, but not like where people are going to watch it on 4K screens and go over every bit of it, which honestly, that's fair enough. More stuff about the releases. Marvel Phase 6. Okay. Phase 6. Let's take a look at this thing. Can I get a list? Can I get just a list? Oh, come on. Dang it. All right, so it starts off with the Fantastic Four and ends with Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, it is actually kind of a big deal that they finally told us when the Avengers as a property come back. Sam Elliott, is that the Law and Order guy? No, that's Sam Waterston. Sam Elliott is somebody else. Um, so, anyways, with the Fantastic Four kicking things off, I'll be interested to see how they integrate that. But it is more interesting to me that they said when we get new Avengers. So I think, honestly, that probably helped even more than Feige saying, we're building to something to just be able to say, like, look, here's where you will get new big team-up movies. Just knowing where that will land kind of helps. And again, I'm hopeful. Like, I don't think I can understate how much I liked Jonathan Majors as Kang in Loki, and understand Kang is not a character I find interesting at all. And Jonathan Majors, really the only thing I'd seen him in was Lovecraft Country, playing one of the less interesting parts. So I didn't know what he was going to bring to it, but I loved what he did with that part so much. And as long as they don't make him flatten it and make him more generic, make him play it more generically, as long as they don't do to him what they did to Christopher Eccleston for Thor: The Dark World, I could be really into them making him the kind of the spine across phases 5 and 6. Potentially. This could work. This could work. We'll see. Did you see the High Evolutionary in Comic-Con? The actor came in costume and in character. He was fun but sinister. No, I missed that. Let's see. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That was a good trailer. That I did a reaction to. That was the one trailer I did a reaction to. That's on the break room of Geeks, if you don't check me out there. Tenoch Huerta. Hope I didn't butcher that. Confirmed to play Namor. Yep. Yeah, I'll be really interested to see where that goes. Oh, and this is it. We're almost done. Oh, I'm not going over by that much. Avengers Endgame directors Joe and Anthony Russo are not directing the Kang Dynasty or Secret War. So, since then, and I want to thank Carowin for this because she brought this to my attention, that they did confirm a director for at least the first of the Avengers, and that is Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings, which makes sense. I mean, that's the same way the Russos came to the job. They started out working the Captain America films, and they impressed Marvel well enough that they were handed the reins to the Avengers. So yeah, that was that works. I'm down for that. You notice there's a ton of Marvel news and little DC news. Well, yeah, they don't have nearly as much in the works, for one thing. Methinks that DC is taking their time and not doing what Marvel is doing, which is cranking them out extremely fast. It's not really fair to compare the two at this point, Logan, because they're not anywhere near in the same position. Because at this point, like, let me put it this way. If DC had as solid a foundation with as many super hit and well-loved movies as Marvel had, they would be cranking out just as much stuff. The only reason they slowed down was because they had to figure out what was going wrong, whereas Marvel has not had to do that. So, like, if this is the racetrack, you're judging the activities of somebody who's back here to somebody who's over here. Like, there are different points in this whole thing. I really don't like this too much narrative with the MCU. People are celebrating the casting of Namor. More LGBT rep complaining about too much is missing the forest for the trees. Oh, you mean people complaining about too much diversity? Yeah, whatever. There we go. So I think that'll just about wrap it up. I was afraid we were going to go to like 8:30 or later, but got that done in decent time, all things considered. I need to get back Did you already talk about Marvel Zombies? I kind of skipped over it, or because I don't like Marvel Zombies. I mean, what I will grant is I liked what the What If version did with Marvel Zombies more than what the comic book version of Marvel Zombies are. But that's just comparative, because I loathe the Marvel Zombies comics. I really, really hate them. So just the fact that it wasn't just like those was already a good thing. So if this new one is based more on the What If, that's better. I still don't want it, but that's me. Seeing as Brie Larson is in every movie DDC has directed, it's fair to say Carol Danvers will be a major player in Kang Dynasty. I mean, one would assume that they're building to that anyways, but we'll see. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Carolyn. So Twitch tomorrow morning, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be getting back into Spiritfarer because I need something relatively chill while I try desperately to finish off some editing, which is also what I need to get done. So there will be a new video here on this channel tomorrow at noon announcing a new project that kicks off on Saturday. So you have that to look forward to. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in. Someday I'd love to see a random Why You Loathe Marvel Zombies. Maybe someday, not right now. Not right now, I got too much to do. But thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you had fun, that you have a good rest of your night. Hope to see some of you twitch.tv/Council of Geeks in the morning. And more than anything, I want you to remember that you are beautiful. You are valid. And you are loved. You're the council. I'm just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity!